Hey, welcome back to another video tutorial for the channel, or video blog should I say, for Blender. I'd firstly like to thank everybody who commented, supported, liked and followed, and even took the time to email me on the last on the previous content. This is the first video I've done on Blender in quite a while. I haven't had the opportunity to jump into it. I've just been really busy with work, other software, so I'm keen to get back into it, and I've managed to only dabble in it of late, so I've just been getting my foot into it, I suppose, and getting my teeth into it, and just learning a little bit more about what this software has to offer going forward. Now, in this video, I'm gonna go ahead and attempt to make a dice. So it's super basic. It's again, it's a good activity for myself in terms of familiarizing myself with Boolean operations. Doing movement, simple movement inside of here, and just getting comfortable with the general interface. And I think if you're a beginner or you're teaching in this format, like simple, when I learn software, I always start with simple models. And each of the models that I pick to do, I try to do it in a way where it'll require me almost to learn a different feature or a different modeling section of the product that I'm using. As you probably noticed, I'm on version 4.2.1, so I think this hasn't changed much from the last video. So I know we're in Blender terms, we're a little bit ahead of this, so perhaps maybe for the next video I'll jump to the latest version, but I think for now on this one and the stuff that I'm doing, this will be absolutely fine. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into a scene, and I'm just going to scroll in here. So one of the things I'll do is I'll just start from scratch, like right from the beginning. So I'm going to use Shift A, and again, this is about teaching myself as well. So it's memory recall. And bring up this menu. Let's pop a cube in. So I remember I was so confused about this little point here. So this is the spawn point for objects in the scene, I believe. If I have said that incorrectly, make sure you correct me in the comments. So this is pretty cool, and yeah, we can move it about and stuff, and we can create different spawn points and things like that. So for this, we just want a simple dice in here. Then what I'm going to do is I'll actually add a bevel modifier to this. So let's just jump in here. I'm going to do a search. I should be able to just type the first two letters there, bring on a bevel, and we'll just crank up those segments a little bit. I shouldn't need too much though, because we've got auto smoothing as well. So you can see there where I'm getting some really nice sort of shading along those edges. So the next thing to do is bring in the sort of indentations really. Now, this model itself isn't going to be for games or anything like that. This is just a pure modeling, I suppose a visualization. I'm not going to worry about topology or mesh count or quads and things like that. I just want to familiarize myself with the Blender, and just get comfortable. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to create, so let's use Shift A again, and then what I'll do is I will create a cylinder. I'm going to use Shift Spacebar, and I'm going to move. Now, I know there's different ways of moving in Blender, but for me and the software that I've used, I'm just so integrated with a gizmo at the moment. It's a bit difficult for me not to be using this. So I am aware that for those watching the video as well, perhaps you're a beginner yourself, what you can do is you can use the G key, and it puts you into this free movement mode. And I think if you hold the middle mouse button, was it? Yeah, the middle mouse button as well snaps into a axis, so you can run this along, which is probably actually a little bit faster. You can also use the Z key, I believe the Y key, and the X key as well. So it's pretty good. But for me myself, and just the software that I sort of use, I'm just like, my brain sort of like goes into overload when I can't see the gizmo there, and I can sort of just push and pull these things. So I'm just going to stick with that for this video. So I am sorry if it does, like, it gets a bit on your nerves, but just bear with me, guys. I'm still learning this software. It's still incredibly new to me, so the journey's just begun, right? So again, I'm going to go shift space bar. Let's scale this, and we'll just bring this down a little bit. So this is going to be the cut. So if you ever watch my channel and stuff and you've seen my artwork online, I do quite a lot of the surfacing stuff. So I do a lot of hard surface modeling and things. So it'd be, you know, I think my approach to this will be eventually, what I'm hoping is I'll be able to do a lot of the hard surface stuff that I do in other programs. I'll be able to sort of implement in here as well. Hence why I want to use the Boolean workflow to create a dice here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go into edit mode. So I remember this from last time. What I can do is I can tab, and again, a lot of this stuff is from what I've learned off my friends, what I learned off the feedback that I got. You know, people were emailing me based on the last videos, so all this has contributed to my knowledge. So I can't thank everybody enough on the channel, within the community, and you know, the Blender community living up to its reputation. So nice. So in here now, we've got sort of inset and a bunch of different things. So the tab mode there, I can, you know, tab between, and then I can use the number 3 key. So that'll put me in face mode. So the easiest way I can show you these is up at the top. So again, if you're new to it, this is kind of how you access that. I can select a face here, and then I can select, I should be able to select one down here as well. Let's use just shift there. And then what I want is the inset faces. So that is shift spacebar I. So if I do shift spacebar I, let's have a look. I didn't quite pull that off. Let's just see if I had that right. I might not have. Let's just click it. And we'll see what we get here. So let's bring that in. Well, there we go. That's worked. It might have been spacebar I, so I might have had that wrong there. So let's just bring this in. I always find like sometimes like you've got to get the angle right on this to keep it going in. So you can see here where it's sort of like, you know, coming back out and it goes back in. That should do for what I kind of want to create. So I'm just going to select both of these again. And what I want to try and do, I want to see if I could do like an edge extrusion on both sides via the normal. So I think if I hold this down, I have got extrude along normals, and I think if I do click that, yes, there we go. So we've got like what I'm kind of doing here. I'm making a cut for this object itself. So I don't have to really mess around adding too much more detail. It'll all be held within the cut. And again, if you're used to hard surface workflows and you've looked at previous works, like, you know, if you see some of my stuff, this is pretty standard practice. All right, so that's pretty cool. So I've got that now. What I need to do is I'm going to have to add in here. I'm going to have to first actually go into edge mode. So I want to go into edge mode, so that's number 2, the 2 key. And I believe if I hold Alt, I should be able to select multiple edges. Okay, maybe not. Maybe, it might be Shift Alt. So there we go, Shift Alt, I can select multiple edges. Why not? We'll grab that one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a manual sort of bevel on each of these. So I'm just going to use that Shift and middle mouse button there to bring myself back up. Let's grab each one of these, and then we should have a bevel here. And again, let's just have a look at the shortcut there. So it says shift shortcut Control B. So I'll try that one, Control B, and then does that bevel it? Oh, there we go, Control B. I don't know whether I'm doing this wrong, because like when I do that, if I do it up here, so it doesn't seem to do it like sort of even there. I don't know how the cursor correlates to the sort of amount that it's on. You can kind of see it works sort of on that angle much better. So if I scroll the mouse button now, there we go, absolutely fantastic. I can really crank that up there. That's brilliant. And then what I could do as well, that's relatively low poly. What I could do, let's just go back into object mode. I'm going to just auto smooth that out, and then we could add a modifier, and I think, is it subdivide surface? I'm pretty sure it's subdivide surface as well. So if I just bring on the wireframe, which should be up here. I forget, I'm sure there's a shortcut for this, but I forget what it was. I'm pretty sure there is. You can see that it's added a lot more density, but we're getting a smoother result. So hopefully when I start the Boolean operations on here, they'll be a lot better. And obviously we should be able to, because this is sort of like it's almost a non-destructive way, because we've got the detail held here. I don't have to worry about, you know, adding a lot of modifiers in the stack here. And again, you know, I can always increase those segments if needs be. Okay, I can increase them. One thing that I kind of want to be careful though is that I don't get any pinching in this area here. So I've got to, you know, just got to be cautious of things really when we're using quite a lot of topology. Right, okay, so I'm going to leave that one there, and what I'm going to use now is I'm going to do Shift D, I believe it was. There we go. Let's use the old middle mouse button and scroll along. There we go. So this one, I'll use this one to start building the cuts on the model. And again, this is typically something that I would start my students off with. So anytime that I'm using a program, I start students off with like really simple models to make. And when you do it and you're sort of self-teaching, just give yourself those small little wins. Like, don't start off like massively. I've had years and years of experience like in modeling and stuff, and I'd never come into a program and say like model a full you know, what I've got on my portfolio, like a full Glock in here straight away. Like, I just wouldn't do it yet, because you've got to give yourself time to learn the software, the techniques, and you've got to be, I suppose, that creative learning process, I suppose. So okay, so I've got this here now. So let's use the shift middle mouse button, rotate. I'm going to use the gizmo again. I hope I'm not triggering too many people with that. I'm using control now with the mouse button, the mouse button held down there. So I'm just using that to put it on that angle. That's pretty cool. And then we can grab the move tool, and then we can move this. So I'm in it off graphic view, and I just want to get it roughly in center. I'm not too fussed whether this is 100% accurate. It's not really the point of the video. The video is here to sort of try and help us out, sort of learn sort of these techniques. So let's just get this roughly about there. I'll have a look at the cut first of all. So we'll check this cut out first of all before we start doing the others, and just see if we need to edit it or anything like that. I think the sweet spot's going to be probably about here, just as so we've got a bit of a curve there to the edge as it goes in. Should be quite nice, maybe about there. So we can grab this. What we'll do is I'll just double check. Let's do a Boolean modifier, and where's my Boolean? So it's here. So I pick the object and I can pick that one. So it has actually Boolean this out, but the I suppose the viewport renderer is still rendering our object here. So what I need to do is select this, and I need to go into okay, so now I'm really memory recall here. So I think I'm going to object and then viewport display, and then we can change this to be wireframed, so you can see the wireframe there. And I'm pretty sure, does this just do, there we go, bounds. And then what we want to do is just to check this before we start committing to things, is just turn off the wireframe there. So there you go, you've got a nice sort of dice indentation. One thing that you can do as well with this, because it's not sort of set, we should be able to move this out as well, so we can get different sort of results depending on your output. You know, so if this is your sort of desired output, if you want it like this, yeah, you can do a bunch of different things. We can also, because it has got the turbo smooth on this, I do believe if we go back to modifiers while we've got this object selected, you know, we can turn down the smooth as well. So that'll reduce that topology if it's getting a bit too much. That's not bad. That's okay. Probably, you know, we could probably do with a chamfer on this edge. I'll try and maybe bevel it a little bit later on, but we'll see. I don't know how well that'll turn out. So let's just go back into wireframe there. So it's quite dense, but again, it's not this project. I wouldn't do it for a game itself. Maybe for high poly, you know, it's justified. But this is just purely practice and for visualization. So it's not too bad. What I can try and do before we get into doing the other cuts, what I could try and do is maybe adding or changing the position of this bevel. So I do believe I can mess around with this stack to some degree. So if I click these buttons here, I can change that stack, and then we can see we get that sort of edge there, that edge refinement. Oops, moved the wrong model there. So let's just go back to this one. So now let's just have a look. So we're getting a interesting result there, very interesting. So let's just have a look now at what we've got. That's actually pretty cool. So I've made some interesting sort of features there on that. You know, again with these cuts, we can edit this a little bit more as well. So if I wanted to, benefits of doing this, we can get a scale. You know, I can maybe scale this a little bit. You know, you get something like that, or whatever you want. You know, in terms of your imagination, they don't have to be circled. It could be squares. It depends if you've got a dice. And again, we can just kind of push that in and just see what we get. So I kind of like that one. I think that gives us like a lot of nice shiny edges, but I also like that one as well. So there's two there that I sort of like the format. I think I'll go with this one. Just has a little bit more prominent features with the edging, and hopefully when we apply material to it, we can get them popping out with a bit of maybe metallic or lower the roughness or something. So that's pretty cool. Right, okay, so we've got to get these working now across the model. So what I need to do is select this. I'm going to use Shift D to duplicate that. Rather than, so at the moment it's moving off here, but rather than just place it with this, I'm going to right click so it snaps back to this point. I'm going to move this up here, and this is going to be our number 2. So what I'll do is, again, use that shift space bar. Let's rotate this. I'll use control, and I think I should really, when I'm rotating this, I really need to come into here, these views, the off graphic views. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Let's try a G. Let's do along here, something about there, and then what I can do is just use G. I'll do it in that direction, and then notice here now, it's maintained the settings that I had on. So if we come back into here, and I've got the viewport display, so we've got the shading, the bounds. It's kept all that on. That's why we can't see the shape. But the Boolean operation isn't on here, because the Boolean operation in the modifying stack is just for cylinder 001. So there is a faster way to do this. I'm going to test it out in a minute. So hopefully, you know, touch a bit of wood. This all works. This works out like the way that I envisioned doing it works. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use that movement again. So let's just grab a gizmo here. Let's just bring that across to an area like this. Hopefully it doesn't crash. There we go. Shift D. So there we go. I've not got the reference for the dice, so I can't remember what numbers are on what side. But if you're following along, you know, get yourself some references. Right. Okay. So what I can do is I should be able to, if it's not added already, if I go to preferences and if I type in bool. Okay, so I've already got it here. So we want the bool tool added. So it gives me a shortcut to add this same Boolean operation, but to multiple models in the selection. So it adds them really quickly for me. If it's not found there, what I found in this version of Blender, you've got to get it from the extensions here. So if you enable the extension, I think it was the extension browser or something like that, it'll search for these and it'll install them, which is quite cool. So that's how I got it from there, and a friend of mine actually told me about it as well. So a good friend of mine was like, hey, you can do this, you know, add this here, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. All right, so we go to here, we make a selection like so. So let's hold shift and grab that. And what I should be able to do is use control backspace, and we get those put in. And then if I select each of these now, so it selects that, and I move these down, hopefully we don't get any sort of crashes there, we should be able to put them down. Now, if you notice here, the bevel's not actually applying to these, and it's probably to do with the modifying stack. So if we look at where the bevel is, so let's have a look. So our bevel modifier is here. We've got the first Boolean operation there. So really, that bevel needs to be sort of at the top there. What I found here, you can see here with this now, where the bevel, it isn't working that great now. So you can sort of see, whoops, if I just go back onto here, it's not actually applying it. So I don't know whether there's maybe an override in here, maybe there's something that's sort of causing it. I'm not too sure, but you can sort of see where the bevel's just not kind of working as well as you would presume it should be. So we've got quite small bevel. So even if you go on here and I grab this, let's just bring it down to the bottom there. We've got smooth on top, and I sort of crank that up. I'm hoping, yeah, it's not really making much difference there, so I'm not seeing much. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know whether there's maybe a setting in here that's causing it. I'm not quite sure. So that'd be interesting if you know why, if you've got some insider knowledge in Blender of why that happens. That'd be really helpful. So what we can try and do, again, we can go back and maybe just have the bevel at the top, so you can see how much it's beveling there. That's crazy. And then we can just scale this down, and we can have a nice sort of edge like that. And then we've got these sort of edges here that we can sort of experiment with there. So something maybe there, like so. And I'll do the same for this one as well. Yeah, what I'm keen to avoid here is, you know, I don't want to get into sort of doing individual bevels and stuff like that. So, you know, learning how to use that effectively in the modifying stack would be really good. So if anyone's got an answer for that, or maybe it's the way the stack's working, it could be to do with the Boolean operation. Maybe there's setting in here that I just haven't sort of punched in correctly. It'd be really nice and useful, I think, for everybody, like especially beginners like myself in here. Okay, so I'm going to grab these two here, and then I should be able to do Shift D. Okay, I'm going to right click to place them at point of origin there. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate these. So let's grab them. Let's rotate them about 90 degrees there. Yeah, it's 90, and then we can just move these into position, and this is going to form the three on the back. So I'll just try and get these into a nice position. So as I say, usually when I'm doing these tutorials, this is typically, believe it or not, how I start a lot of my students off. And I suppose in a way it's testament to what I believe in education. You know, this I kind of do what I believe my students should do. So hopefully it's good practice, you know. I mean, yeah, get some good results. So let's just move this one over here like so. And again, what we need to do now is just re-add another set of Booleans. So we can grab that and grab that. I can use control and minus. So it's the number key there. So again, good buddy of mine told me all about this, which was yeah, fantastic. So I got that, credit to him. I haven't got his permission to actually shout out his channel or his name, so maybe I should have did that before here. But he knows who he is. He knows who he is. So much appreciated. So again, I'll just push these in. Try and get these into a nice sort of position, sort of there. Check out the detail. All right, that's pretty cool. Got to finish obviously the rest of these off. So let's try and speed things up. So what we've got here, 1, 2, 3. So let's get through these now. So we need a a 4, don't we? So if I grab these two again, whoops, from here, let's hold shift, let's do shift D, and then right click to spawn my point of origin, and then I'm going to use shift space bar, rotate, and then I'm going to hold control. We're just going to get them nice and straight that way. Let's move these into a good position. So again, I'll just use the view here. So it's about, I think they're about there, aren't they? Something like that. And get it into here. Actually, I could probably use these ones and just push them down, but yeah, not thinking there. Oh well. Right, so that's 1, 2, 3. These are going to be 4, I believe. So let's grab this again, move it across. Again, I'll just try my absolute best, you know, to eyeball it in place. I suppose if this was for a professional product, I'd probably take the time, like using the grid settings and stuff, and I'd snap it into place, so I'd get all these aligned like perfectly. But you know, for the purpose of this, there's not much point. You know, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm having a good amount of fun doing this, and that's what it's about. And I'm learning quite a lot as well at the same time. And I suppose, like, as I'm doing it, more questions are coming forward. So again, when I'm saying like about the, you know, the Boolean, can someone like put a comment in, and if they know a better way to utilize it, so I can get the Boolean across the bevel, sorry, not the Boolean, but the bevel and Boolean working together more harmoniously. That'd be fantastic. So there's this one here. So let's select these parts here. Let's select this one, control, minus that out, and then we can just grab, can I hold shift and just remove that one? Yes, I can just remove that one, and I can just put these into place here. So I'm just going to move them up ever so slightly. Computer's sort of chugging away now. It's like, oh god, you know, you're recording, you're doing sort of like high vis work at the same time. Let's just have a look. There we go. It's pretty good. Just make sure that's set quite nice there. Yeah. I think maybe we can sort of come down a little bit with them. Think about there. Okay, so that's 4. And we got 5, and then I suppose 6 on that side. So we'll do 5 on this side. Again, I've not referenced the dice, so you know, if there's any D&D players like, oh man, the 6 should be on the other side, I do apologize. It's just is what it is. You know. Okay, so let's do the duplication. Keep that in place. I'm going to repeat the process again. Use that feature here. Let's use control. Let's get that. Snap that into place. Let's use G, and oops, now, yeah, this is, I'm still struggling to get that. I've got to hold the mouse button. That's what it is there. So if I come here and I use G, I need to, there we go. I think that locks it in. There you are, like that. So this is probably why I sort of prefer the gizmo. Sort of like using this way, just a little bit easier for me myself. I'm not saying like obviously that's the case for everybody, but that's just certainly for me. So we've got this in place here. So try and get these lined up again best that we can. Doesn't have to be absolute perfect, but we can get that there. Let's hold shift, select this one, control backspace. And we've got those in place. I'll just deselect the cube again, and we should be able to just push these in a little bit. There we go, something like that. That'll do. It's quite nice. And then we just got the last side. So this one's going to be. No, we haven't actually, because I need to grab this. So this one's number 5. So I need to grab that. Let's move it into place. Go to the orthographic view there. Select this piece, that piece. Just remove that. There we go. And then now what I want to do is I want to grab each of these. There we go. And I should be able to just copy these across now. Do the same thing. Let's copy them across. I'll have to, you know, get them roughly in the area that I want. And we need to just grab these two. There we go, and then just get these roughly in that area there. Let's grab that. Grab these, there we go. So I'm just clicking. Actually, you've got to do this in an order as well. So you need to make sure you're selecting the cuts first of all. So select all the cuts first, and then the object that you want them to cut from last. And then I should be able to do a piece there. Yeah, let's run through it. It's holding up quite well. I'm actually quite impressed here because it's holding up quite well. I mean, I know I'm saying about the performance here a little bit, but these is quite a lot of operations that I'm doing at the moment. I might have just near enough broke that then, because it's running through a lot of calculations to do this, and all these are live as well. So it's quite impressive, like in terms of computational processing. Now it's holding up quite well. Go on, Blender. I'm happy with that. Go on. It's pretty good. So there we go. We got our dice. So the next thing we need to do is sort of render this out. So let's just remove that. I think I'm just going to look up here. I'm pretty sure you can hide gizmos up here. Let's just have a look. Active object, image, focus, size, look at, lens. Is it in, it might be in here, text info, extras maybe? Is it this one? Pretty sure it was something like extras or something like that. Do we do face orientation? Oh, that's pretty cool. Face orientation, that's cool. 3D cursors, annotations, floor. Oh, that's cool. You can sort of hide that as well. So get rid of that maybe for the render or something. Okay. Yeah, I think there must be a universal way to set these off. I mean, I don't have to. Do I have to select all of these? Surely I don't, do I? Can I just click one? Maybe hold shift? No, control. No, come on, Blender. I wonder, there must be a shortcut for this. Can you just turn them off there? It looks like I've got to just go through. Sometimes you can actually sort of like bake the cuts down into the model as well, so you can get rid of a lot of this excess geometry. The reason you're probably going to want to do that at some point, I don't actually know how to do it, so that's another good question. If anybody knows how to sort of get rid of these, that'd be really cool in the scene, and just embed them on the model. The reason you're going to want to do that is performance reasons as well. So once you finish your edits and your cuts and things like that, it's worth doing just to clean up your scene, and obviously make sure you've got enough sort of I suppose of your CPU left to do whatever else you need to in here. So sometimes working non-destructively is good. Okay, so what we want to do is jump into the render. So I think it's viewport shading. I think, let's have a look. That's actually quite nice. And I think if we go into render and render engine, there's two render engines there. I'm just going to make sure as well that auto smooths on that as well. You can see there, because the mesh isn't sorted out, I reckon that's probably, it could be from the mesh. I mean, the rest of it looks all right. But yeah, the geometry on the mesh is a little bit ugly. Usually the auto smooth and stuff, like, it does clear this up, and you can use things. I'm pretty sure Blender's got something like weighted normals or something like that. So that's pretty cool. Let's just go back into here. Let's remove the floor. Can I remove these? Yes, there we go. So you're getting a really nice. I mean, that's cracking for a viewport render. That I like that. Nice real time sort of render there. That's pretty cool. There's another one as well in here. So you've got the cycles as well. What I want to do though is I want to add a material to this. So let's get in here. I've got our light as well, so maybe I need to sort of move that. Can we do? I'm sure we can do 3-point lighting setup as well. So let's have a look. Yes, there we go. Let's do 3-point lighting setup. So what I'll do is let's have our sort of key, our main light here. Let's just have a look over here. I'll put this one sort of in the distance, maybe there. And then where's the other shaded area? So here, let's do another light here as well. And again, we can put that sort of in the distance. I'm pretty sure you can sort of color these lights as well. So let me see. Pretty sure would that be for that light? So let's just have a look. So this is we can do the standard stuff. So we can do a little bit of red there, a little bit of blue on the other side, something like that. There we go. So getting something. It's looking pretty good, man. Like that's pretty cool. Yeah, quite nice, quite nice. Okay, so let's try and add. What I want to do is try and add a material to this, and my memory is running through a million things right now. I'm pretty sure it was shading. Was it shading? I think this is, yeah. So if I select this, I can add a new material, perhaps. There we go. So I can add a new material, and then I can change the base color of this. So, we can do maybe red dice, something, maybe there, and then we can change. Let's just zoom in a little bit, because what I want is I want the roughness just about right, so we can see these highlights a little bit better in the render. So let's just have a look. I think that's quite nice there. And then you've got the metallic as well. You can experiment if if you want some metal dice. I mean, it looks pretty cool, right? It looks pretty good. I'm all up for that. Let's leave it there. And then if we jump back into the render view and we go back into layout, let's have a look. That's actually pretty good. I think it probably needs to be a little bit brighter in terms of lighting. That's because of the metallic but that's not actually that bad. So let's just jump back into shading, and let's just drop that down a little bit for greater effect. Let's do 0.5. That gives us, bang in the middle. Let's jump back into layout. And there we go, guys. I hope you're impressed. I hope you're impressed. This is, like I say, everything that you guys was giving me in terms of feedback. I've had friends help me out as well. A few people have shown me some tips and tricks in here. And yeah, this is kind of the results. So I'm hoping. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Getting quite a lot. I don't know. It looks cool on my monitor. One of my monitors is quite old actually, and it don't look too good. It don't look like it's holding up well. But I can assure you now, the viewport here, it's looking quite tasty. I really like this for real time there. It's really nice. Getting some really good results. And yeah, as I say, thank you you guys in the community that took the time here to help me out. The comments, the feedback, the support. I was getting emails from people giving me lots of support. I wish I had a bit more time to continue the video blogs. I'm hopefully going to get a bit more time now, so I'll start cranking these videos out a little bit more, and you can follow me along my learning journey, and you can help guide and influence sort of the next videos and stuff. I'm thinking again, we'll keep it super simple, super small. It might be another hard surface piece. Maybe I'll move maybe into a bit more modeling, maybe do some bottles or some other things that we can get out, but I'll have a think about that. But again, thank you so much. If there's anything you can answer the questions to, in particularly the Boolean stuff in there, where I got a bit stuck on why it was so small in certain parts, that would be great. So if you could help me out in terms of that, just post a comment. That'd be fantastic. But that's it. That is it for now. So I'll wrap this up. I think it's been about 30 minutes or so. So I'll wrap this video up. As always, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Always glad to get feedback. And I will see you in the next video or the comment section. Bye bye for now.